This is Hannibal back here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube with another UFO news update. Let me start off by talking a little bit about Dr. Stephen Greer, who 4 days ago debuted a podcast, and the big gimmick he used to debut the podcast was he was going to drop some bombshells and disclosure would happen in 72 hours. It has now been 96 hours. And again, he also said in this podcast he's been at this for 33 years. So after 33 years, he says when he does this podcast, something's going to happen within 72 hours. Again, the only thing that's happened in the last 72 hours is this Jacob Barber News Nation interview. So was Greer referring to the News Nation interview? I don't know, but I'm sick of people saying stuff is going to happen and not happening in the UFO world. I will tell you guys about one interesting thing. News Nation, after they aired the Jacob Barber interview last night or this morning, it actually aired, I think, at midnight Eastern time, even though it was supposed to air at 8 p.m. They posted an interview with Dr. Jim Segala, a scientist, physicist, and engineer. And I actually enjoyed this interview with Dr. Jim Segala better than I did the Jacob Barber interview overall. It had some very good information. And I'm going to tell you guys what this Jim Segala said in the interview with Ross Coulthart. That was interesting because they were talking about the most interesting claims to me of Jacob Barber were the physical injury claims that he said he had from dealing with non-human intelligence. So they were talking about boots on the ground, people handling something anomalous in nature. Sorry, and Jacob Barber talked about picking up an object that was in a box in Africa and bringing it to the U.S. This was a mystery box. This was something he had to do as a job when he was with the military. This box, whatever was in it, and supposedly it may have been something of non-human intelligence. Whatever was in it, they had the authority to use lethal force if someone tried to intercept them, bringing this box back to the U.S. Everybody on his team got physically ill in the hospital and actually were in the hospital after interacting with this box. And Jacob even lost skin from his arms and developed a heart murmur after handling this box. He was apparently in contact with some type of energy that left a medical footprint on his body. So Jim Segala was discussing this. He's a PhD, again, scientist, physicist, and engineer. He said radiation or electron radiation deposits can cause skin to peel off. This can happen when people come into contact with anomalous objects. You get skin liaisons and cancer dimples or bubble like reactions on the skin. Most of the time, these go away in a week or two, not all of the time. This can happen when people come close to an orb as well. Bubbles that look like pimples or herpes skin infections can develop on the skin. Heart issues and negative autoimmune responses can also happen, such as heart murmurs and the onset of autoimmune disease and problems with the cardiac system. The doctor believes that these issues happen when whatever these NHI or anomalous phenomenon try to communicate with us. And these communications, as Jacob Barber discussed, might have a positive effect on our brains and even a euphoric feeling, but they can have a negative effect on the body. Even Travis Walton, who I interviewed, the alleged alien abductee that the movie Fire in the Sky based on, did have a negative reaction to a UFO. It actually zapped him, and he believed the reason why he was actually transported in the abduction was because they were trying to save him from the negative physical effects he had from his interaction with the UFO. The doctor, Jim Segala, went on to say that people can feel either amazing or completely drained after one of these mystery anomalous object experiences. Some people have very sinister experiences, others have euphoric experiences. There seems to be no direct um like effect from like it can vary. There doesn't seem to be any direct reason why one person can have a good experience, one person could have a bad experience. Apparently, more than half of the time, the experience is euphoric or awakening with learning happening. Sometimes people allegedly are able to write ancient languages they don't even understand, and they write these in trance like states after having some of these experiences. There's thousands of different narratives on these abduction experience, or not abduction, but contact experiences. Sometimes they are abduction, but it's not like one thing happens to everybody. So you look at a guy like Stephen Greer that says it's always good, there's nothing bad. Well, it seems that bad stuff definitely can happen, whether intentional or not, as far as physical effects. Apparently, what's causing the bodies to react this way is some type of outside signal. And there have been instances where negative effects on the health to military people in general have caused government medical payouts. So, medical payouts have taken place to people related directly to effects that have happened from UAPs as I wipe off some water or something from my face. He does not dismiss, the doctor does not dismiss that there could be, these reactions could be due to some psychic connection with non human intelligence. He doesn't say straight out that this is 100% non human intelligence. It could be something else, but he does not dismiss that it's non-human intelligence causing these type of reactions due to either craft or bizarre brain signals with these people. Apparently, the AARO, according to Ross Coathart, the new people government agency investigating unidentified aerial phenomenon, are interested in accompanying Jacob Barber's Skywatch team on their next outing, where they're going to try and summon UFOs. So very interesting. Randy says Barber and Grush both have the same crazy facial expressions or weird stare. A lot of people have mentioned the bizarre eyes of Barber, and I wonder if that has to do with radiation or something to do with whatever has been in contact with him, because he definitely has an unusual look about him. Somebody says bringing up that an orb encounter likely caused death, and as I already mentioned, there was an encounter that James Fox covered in one of his movies about contact with the phenomenon in Brazil, where a police officer had allegedly handled a non-human intelligence being, and the police officer died from some type of infection. So again, for the people like Greer, who again, I want Greer to put up or shut up at some point. Stop telling me something's going to happen and never actually producing the proof. Let's be honest here. He's not producing the evidence he says he's going to produce. It's been 96 hours. Show the proof. But for Greer saying that these things are all friendly, I mean, the doctor here does say most of these experiences, over 50%, are euphoric, but even the euphoric ones can cause negative physical damage. So it seems like no matter what, due to whatever the signal they're sending, there seems to actually be some type of physical damage to humans involved with this type of thing. The Falcon Lake, Manitoba case, where people can look up, it's one of the most famous cases in Canada to ever happen, also involved radiation burns to the person that came in contact with the UAP. So thanks a lot for your input, everyone in the